Okay, my name is Tom Haddock, and welcome. Hola, and good morning to everyone. Hopefully you've had a good week so far. What we wanted to do today is displayed on the screen. We wanted to have a session with Brian Bates on how to implement a DocuShare process, and we're going to talk about things like basic objects, different types of custom objects, how to scan to DocuShare, how to set up a workflow in DocuShare. And I'll let Brian go ahead and after I get through introducing him and describing a little bit more detail what we're going to do there. But Brian, just as a introduction, he is one of our senior engineers in our pro services team. And when he's not doing sessions like this, he is actively implementing DocuShare at customer sites, integrating them into their environments, and has been around DocuShare since the beginning. So he's probably the most knowledgeable field engineer we've had, and has probably done more implementations than anyone we have. And then later on, at about 10:30 this morning, we'll have Ash Nafaria. He is the person who basically created Connect Key for DocuShare, the ability to scan using Connect Key directly into collections in DocuShare, and he'll show us how to configure and answer any questions on Connect Key for DocuShare. And then we'll have, after that, we'll have Frank Garrett, who is one of our senior solutions consultants from the Xerox Content Management Group, discuss with us the developer resources and the ability to the application connector. Excuse me, I have a little bit of an error in my agenda there, but the application connector, and then following that, we will talk about the resources available for developers to develop to DocuShare, the APIs and things like that, the resources available. So without saying any more, I will turn it over to Brian Bates, and we can start learning more about DocuShare.
All right. So we're going to start out by seeing my site, which is customized with a bunch of pictures of all my trips, because as much as I love work, I love going on vacation even more.
Hello. Could you please go more slowly, please?
Sure.
Yeah. So guys, what we have here is we have interpreters in the room, and they had requested if you guys could just slow it down just a hair because it's hard for them to grasp what you're saying in English and find the words in Spanish to translate.
Excellent.
That is not a problem.
Thank you.
Okay, so here is DocuShare. I've already installed DocuShare here locally. I've done some customizations. I've got this rotating images on my home page.
Hi, this is Elizabeth. Whoever is talking now is not sharing screen.
Well, it could be a problem.
Thank you, Brian.
Let me share here. About now?
Much better. Thank you.
Yes. All right, so it's really easy to customize DocuShare. I don't know that I'll have a lot of time to teach you how to do that today, but this image that rotates through, very, very easy to customize. But what we're going to do today is we're going to develop an invoicing system where we're going to have a workflow. When invoices come in, if they're below a certain amount, they will be routed accordingly. If they're higher than that amount, then they're going to have additional steps in the approval process.
Brian, are you recording this? Are we recording this WebEx?
It's a really good idea.
Yes, we are.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so let's get started. So we're going to use this guide that hopefully you guys have. It's called DocuShare 7 Demo Guide. And we're actually going to build this site up. We're going to build up the invoice processing workflow, and we're going to try and connect all the dots. Okay, so we're going to log in as administrator, and then we're going to create a collection called invoices. I've already done that, so let's just kind of see. Oops. All right, so again, here's my site. I put my invoices collection within this finance collection, and here's my invoices collection. We are going to delete everything just to make sure we're starting clean. And so what you see right here is I deleted a bunch of stuff, and it moves that to a background job. So that means it's deleting the stuff. Sometimes you can have very large collections, and sometimes it takes a long time to delete all the objects within those collections, or to reset permissions if you do a major permission reset. So you see this green screen on top. That just means it's moved it to a background process so your browser doesn't time out. Okay? All right, well, let's start even above this. I'm going to go ahead and delete invoices just so we can build this from scratch according to that guide that you have. All right, again, I get the green bar that occurs every time you do a delete or a permission reset. We're going to do an add collection. So a collection is the same thing as a folder. And we're going to go ahead and add a new collection called invoices. So this is where we want our invoices to land. All right, so here's what a new folder or collection looks like. All objects within DocuShare have properties. We will spend a lot of time dealing with the properties. You get to the properties of a collection by moving over here to the right, or you can also open up the object, and again, you still move over to the right, and you can get to the properties here. Please stop me if you have any questions as we go. All right, let's get to the Word file. So what we want to do, what we're going to do today, we're going to log in as admin. I'm already logged in. We are going to open the invoices collection. So I've already done that. We've created the invoices collection now. And you can see that I'm logged in as admin right up here in the upper right. I can log out and log back in as somebody else, but for now, I am the admin. Okay, so within invoices, we're going to create 3 sub-collections or sub-folders. And we're going to name them exactly like it says here. We want the 1, the 2, and the 3 because that's going to make them sort properly. So let's do that. So we're going to do incoming invoices, approved invoices, and rejected invoices with those numbers that you see there. So I'm going to hit this little down arrow. I'm going to highlight collection. I'm going to say 1. Incoming invoices. I'm going to do it again. Dose. Approved. That's about the limit of my Spanish. Approved invoices. And number 3 is going to be rejected. So in each case here, I'm adding a collection object. So the 1, the 2, the 3, that allows them to sort correctly so they're in the right order. Back to the guide. We're going to add actually add an invoice object. So the next thing we need to do is actually add an invoice object that has custom properties. So if we look at our site, and if I were to go into the incoming invoices and do an add, I get document, but I also get this invoice object, which I meant to delete, so let's delete it. So I'm going to go actually to admin home and delete it just so we can start from scratch. All right, so in practicing for this morning's session, instances of that class. I had gone through the demo a couple times, and you can't delete any invoice objects if they exist. You can't delete the object itself if it exists. So let's just try and clean that up a little bit. If I have trouble doing that, I'm just going to go with the one that I have. We're going to look for the invoice only, and we're going to do a search. And so it didn't find anything, so there's nothing within DocuShare, but you still can end up with stuff in the wastebasket. So that's probably where we're tripping. Let's just try it one more time. Do asterisk. And I'm going to do invoice. All right, so let's go to admin home and content management. And here we're going to select all, expunge all. So what happens in DocuShare is when you delete something, it sits in the trash can, the system-wide trash can, based on the properties that you've established. So if you have expiration period never, that means anything that ever gets deleted from a DocuShare site is going to continue to sit in the wastebasket, the system wastebasket, until somebody comes in and cleans it up. I would typically set this to 3 months and then have write a script that automatically expunges expired documents for documents that have been expired for 3 months. So that's kind of a best practice. Just so you don't, if a site is deleting a lot of content, you don't want the wastebasket to fill up with hundreds of thousands of objects. All right, let's look again. Are you guys with me? Please just interrupt me and let me know if you have any questions.
Yeah, hey Brian, it's Hector.
Hey Hector, yep.
So who writes the script?
There's a very simple script. That's a good question. It looks about like this. So who writes it? You do.
Okay.
Let me just show you what it looks like. There's simple scripts that we recommend. Let me just pull this up. There's actually a number of training guides out there. So here's software, and then here is maintenance scripts. So let's just take a look. So expunge expired. It will look like this. We're going to edit it. It's very simple. Basically, you CD from a command prompt into the drive that's running DocuShare. You then CD into the bin directory of DocuShare, and then here's the actual command: ds trashcan space -q for quiet space expunge expired. So what that's going to do is stuff gets added to the trash can. It's going to sit in the trash can for 3 months. After 3 months, it's going to be flagged as expired. When this script runs using Microsoft Event Scheduler, then it's going to delete or expunge everything that's expired. Does that make sense? Too fast?
So we have a document with all the available comments and its options to do our sort of script.
I'm not sure I caught that question.
So she wants to know, is there any documentation that we have with all the scripts that we can write for DocuShare?
There should be. So I do like trainings for DMO and also for GIS here in the U.S. and Tom should have access to all of that, so I'm happy to share. So, and I actually have a guide that I use to walk you through setting up a site, a deployment guide.
If you could send that to me, then I'll share it with the class.
We'll do it. So, Tom, can you take a note on that?
Yep, we'll do.
All right. All right, so what was I doing here? I was trying to add a new invoice, but it hasn't let me delete the old one. So let's go here again. Custom object, invoice, I want to edit that, and then I want to delete it so I can start over. Say it's removing it, but it's finding. You can't delete a custom object that you've created as long as objects exist within DocuShare. And they can exist within the repository itself, or they can exist within the wastebasket. So that's why I had to go clean out the wastebasket. So that's just a good little lesson for you. But now it's gone. So let's go back here to DocuShare and just kind of start over. So let's regroup. I'm going to go into the Finance collection, and let's get rid of this one too. I'm going to start over with that as well. Yes, so now we're completely clean and ready to go right now. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to start by doing an add collection. So a collection is a folder. We call them collections in DocuShare because unlike a folder on your workstation that can contain only documents and other folders, a collection in DocuShare can contain other objects. It can contain URL links, calendars, wikis, documents, all different other kinds of objects. That's why we call them collections. We're going to call this invoices. So I'm just doing an add collection, which is equivalent to adding a folder, and I'm going to apply. This new label is going to persist. It's going to be there for 3 days unless I change it as a site administrator. If anybody wants to know how to change it, I'm happy to show you. All right, I go to Admin Home, I go to Site Management, and I go to Site Configuration. And it says duration of new icon, 3 days. All right? All right, we got more work to do. So we've got in finance, which is a top level or root level folder or collection. We now have our invoices collection. Let's see what we're supposed to do next. From here, we're going to create 3 new sub-collections. The first one's going to be number 1, incoming invoices. Number 2, approved invoices. Number 3, rejected invoices. These are going to tie into our workflow. Am I talking too fast, Hector?
No, you're good.
All right, let's do it. Add collection. Number 1, incoming. Am I spelling it right? All right, I'm just going to type in the title and apply. So now, just a little more background. So you can see from the home page, where you see the root collections, I've come into finance and then into invoices. And I've now created a subfolder. Let me go ahead and add another one, collection. It's going to be 2. And this is going to be approved invoices. And now let's go ahead and add the third one, add collection. 3, rejected invoices. All right, so we have our 3 folders set up. Now, at this point, you would probably go into the permissions, either at this level of invoices, and go to permissions and decide who gets access to these 3 folders. So you would do that by going through the permissions, or you could actually do it individually on the subfolders. All right, so you could go here to properties, or here to permissions, actually from this drop down, and go straight to the permissions. So you can see I'm working on the permissions for 1, incoming invoices. If you want to do it at a higher level and cascade the permissions down, you would do it here. You always get to the properties of an object by going to the right-hand side. So if I want to get to invoices, which is a collection, I would come straight over here to the right-hand side. If I want to get to approved invoices, I would come over here on the same line to the properties for that object. All right, we good?
Yes.
All right. Let's see. So we've created our 3 sub-collections. Now we're going to open the incoming invoices collection, and we're going to create files. And actually, I'm going to skip through this a little bit, and I want to get to the actual setup, because that's where it starts getting more fun. So I'm going to skip through this. This kind of tells you how to run the demo, but here's the demo setup. So here's what we've really been doing. Number 1, we created an invoices collection, and then we created 3 sub-collections. Now we need to create this object called an invoice. That's the one I just deleted, but now we're going to create it. So let's go look. If I do an add, I don't have invoice here. I used to, but I deleted it. I have document. If I do an add document, I can give it a title. I can give it summary, description, keywords, author. So I have a certain set of standard properties that I can apply to a document object. But this isn't going to help me with an invoice, because an invoice needs additional properties. Look here. An invoice needs company name, invoice number, invoice amount, invoice date, and a couple other things that we're going to use for our workflow. All right, so that's what we're going to create now. in order to create those, we're going to come right here. Not in the add document. We're going to go all the way back to the home page, and then we're going to get into the admin home. So you have to be a site administrator in order to do this. And we're going to work through this menu right here. Administration menu. Object properties. I'm going to come down here to custom object. I'm going to name it invoice, and I'm going to give it a label of invoice. I would strongly recommend that you name these two the same. Same case, uppercase or lowercase, just name them the same. The name is the internal name, so if you have something like company name, you have to put an underscore in there. But anyway, just name them the same, so it'll lead to a lot less confusion later on. So if you're going to add a new object, custom document object, we're going to add it as an invoice, capital I, invoice is the label, capital I, and we do not ever want to clone the calendar. We never want to clone the calendar. We always want to clone the document object. The reason we want to do that is because that will pick up the properties that already exist for the document object. The title, the summary, the description, the keywords, and the author. We're going to get that set of properties on a document object that's going to be called invoice. Then we're going to add additional properties, like you see over here. Okay? All right, let's create. So now that I've created it, I want to add custom properties. And I'm not going to follow the guide exactly over here because this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go add string. You can see it says string property right there. And what I did is add a string property here as well. Everybody see that?
Yep.
All right. And I'm going to call it, I'm a stickler. I'm insistent. I strongly recommend that you make these exactly the same if you can. Company name, if that's your label, make it your name, your internal name as well. Just replace the space with an underscore. I cannot tell you how many times I've tripped over this because of case sensitivity. So here I have to have the underscore. Here I don't. Okay? Is it required? No. So that's all we need to do, add. Let's add another one. So next we're going to add this invoice number, and I'm going to do the same thing here. It's going to be a string, and it's going to be invoice. You notice I didn't put an underscore there. Let's see what it lets me do. The length is also kind of important, especially when you get into longer fields. It's going to default to 24 characters. So you might have to bump that up if it's a person's name. They have a hyphenated name. So just be aware of that. If you're using a scanning software application and it's capturing a field and the field contains more than 24 characters, it's not going to be able to upload to DocuShare. So be conservative here. Estimate high.
What's the max?
I don't believe there is a max. 9,999. How about that? All right, so does anybody think that this is going to succeed?
Nope.
No, it's not going to succeed because I didn't include the underscore right there. Field value may not have spaces. So this is the internal name. If I put that in though, oops, now it's going to work. But again, I want to emphasize, be consistent. Be consistent with your case, and just replace the label spaces with an underscore. All right. Let's go ahead and do a couple more. So big decimal, that's 2 decimals, so we're going to do that next. That's for the invoice amount. So let's do that. And what do I need here? So required, yes. So here's the first time we're going to make this required. So that means when you're adding a document, you have to fill in this field. Otherwise, you can't upload that document. So if you're capturing something and you don't capture the invoice amount, the file will not be uploaded. All right? Date. So now we're going to do a different type of property here. We've done a big decimal. We've done 2 strings. Now we're going to do a date property. And we're going to call that invoice date. And I put a space in there, and I should not have. And you can make this relative, or you can make it a real date. We're going to leave it as a real date so we can capture it. All right, we have 2 more. We've got a menu and a Boolean. So let's do those. We're going to do a menu item, and we're going to call it resubmit. And not required, but we're going to say the menu items are either no or yes, and the default's going to be no. So in order to create those menu values, what I need to do is go here and fill in the ID and the label. So this works the same way as the name and the label do up here. You can't have spaces or special characters in the ID, just like you can't in the name. So I'm going to go no, no, and then add, and then we'll do yes, and add. So it's a very simple menu. Again, you can't have special characters or spaces in the ID. Add. All right, almost done. Now we're going to do our last type of property, a Boolean. Add Boolean. The name is going to be approved. The label is also going to be approved. Is it required? No. The default is going to be false. The true label is yes. The false label is no. True label is false. Is yes. I'm sorry. True label is yes. False label is no. And the default is going to be the no label. Everybody with me?
Yes.
All right, so I've added now all these custom properties, and we're going to do a lot with these. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those. I've added them, but I haven't really added them.
We got a question?
Sure.
I don't follow. How do you make the no? What's the default?
On the Boolean.
The Boolean.
How was the no the default?
How would we know the default? Yes, so on the Boolean, that was the approved. So let me find it here. Edit. Yeah, you can type in whatever you want here. The default value is, so as long as the true label matches up with this selection, the false label matches up with this selection. You can make this Brian and Jim if you want. But the true label is going to be Brian, and the false label is going to be Jim. right? You decide. So they don't have to be yes or no or true or false. You can decide whatever the label is, but then the default value will be whatever you pick here. Okay? Okay, but we're not done yet. If I now go to DocuShare and try and add an invoice, I'm not going to see these properties. This is a very important point. You must go to Update Properties. It's going to say, well, you've got all these updates to the database schema waiting for you to update the database. You must do it before you're going to see these options appear. So you go to Custom Object first, you create all the custom objects here, and then you have to go over here to Update Properties and submit. And once you submit, just relax. It takes a while. You have to just wait. Don't keep hitting submit. Wait until you see this lovely red sign. Red normally would mean things have not gone well, but in this case, red means everything has been successfully updated. All right?
And when it was wrong, what color does it have? Green?
I'm sorry, say again?
When it was wrong, what color does it have? Green?
I can't quite make out what you're saying.
If it fails, what color is that message? Green?
Yeah, that's a good question. If it fails, no, you'll get something called a stack trace error.
Okay.
Stack trace error. And then you get into details, and that's when you send stuff like that to me. Or support. All right, let's go look. So now we should have this custom document object here. So if we go into invoices, we've got our 3 sub-collections. I don't care about those just yet, but I can do an add invoice. That wasn't there before, right?
Right.
If I do an add document, I got title, summary, description, keywords, author, all these other expiration date. But look what happens when I do an add invoice. I've got title, summary, description, but I've also got all these new ones down here. Company name, invoice amount, invoice date, invoice number, resubmit. All those properties that I just added. But you know what? I'm not satisfied. Because they're all down here. They're kind of buried. I want to move those up here so they appear right below title. Everybody with me?
Yep.
All right, so let's do that. So I'm going to go here to Admin Home, right back to where I was, Object Properties. I'm going to go to Custom Object. I'm going to edit this invoice object that I've been working on. Up here in the upper right-hand corner, you have this display sequence. So this is kind of where it gets fun. All you do is put in a number. 1, I want the title to appear first. 2, company name. 3, uno, dos, trace, invoice number. 4, invoice amount. 5, invoice date. 6, resubmit. So these are in order, so that kind of helps you out a little bit. And then approved. What did I do last?
They want to know what number that is.
5, approved is going to be 7. You guys are testing. 7, okay. That's 7. 8, 9. So 8 is summary. And luckily, I don't have to go any more beyond that, right? So I really wanted to come down here and teach that training class in person, darn it, but they wouldn't let me. Okay, does that look right? Title, company name, invoice number, invoice amount, invoice date, resubmit, approved, summary.
No.
All right, so now, but the thing is, it hasn't taken yet. What do I have to do to make this actually update the schema of the database? Anybody?
So you skipped 7 and went right to 9?
I did. I didn't mean to. You guys threw me off with my Spanish counting.
Don't you have to update the properties now?
Yes, exactly. I have to update the properties. Very good. And should I click it again? Should I clear? Should I click?
Wait, just wait.
No, I'm going to wait for results. You're exactly right. All right, let's go look. So now if I go into Finance, and I go into Invoices, and I just say, I just want to add an invoice here. I get which properties? Title, company name, invoice number, invoice amount, invoice date, resubmit. So all those properties that I put in the proper order. All right, we all good?
Yes.
All right. We're going to get into workflow in a little bit, but now I'm going to sort of change things up just a bit here, and we're going to do something called Quick Search. This is really a nice way to customize your site. So right now, if I add an invoice, there are two ways for me to find it. I have to go into Finance, and I have to know that it's an invoice, and so I have to go into Invoices, and then I have to know where it is in one of these folders. So I have to browse to it. That's one way to find it. The other way to find it is to search for it. So I can come up here and say, search, somewhere up here. I'm not sure what I want to do. I can do my, why don't I have search right, oh, right there. So I can search for an invoice, but I don't have any yet. But I could search for an invoice by company name or whatever. So that's the second way of doing it. This is called the classic view of DocuShare. You see collections here over on the left, other links here in the middle, and then you see some other stuff over here, depending on what you're licensed for. So this is more, this is the way that it's always been since 1997. This has been the look and feel of DocuShare. But we've now implemented this thing called Quick Search the last couple of years, and it changes everything. It allows the focus to be on different document types. So for example, I still have my same root collections here. That's called the Cabinet Explorer. But now it's really guiding me to search for documents or mail messages or invoices. We haven't added the invoices yet, but we need to. And then I can decide which properties on the invoices I want to be able to search on. That's what we're going to do next. That's why I have this highlighted in red.
Brian,
yes.
Hi, Mario Colorado, how are you? I have one server with DocuShare here in the showroom. I don't know if you want to the students have practice or make it some in this server.
We could do that. We could actually set up your server. Do you want to do it?
Yeah, it's up and down. It's up.
Let me do this. I'm going to finish this, and then I'm going to set up and then I'll tell you what. I'm going to finish this, and then we're going to switch over to your server, and we're going to do the exact same thing on your server. How about that?
Well, I prefer that someone here make it in order to practice.
All right,
we'll
because
you know very well.
All right, just give me 5 minutes. I'm just going to set up the quick search here on mine, And then you guys are going to share your desktop, and we're all going to do it together on your server.
All right.
Now, the only problem with that is I have AutoStore. And so I can actually capture and send to my DocuShare site.
In the server have also AutoStore.
All right. I'm just going to go through this real quick, and then we'll all do it together on your site, all right?
All right.
All right. So let me go. I'm going to go to admin home. And I just want to set up that quick search page. So there's not much to it. I'm just going to kind of go through it fairly quickly here. I'm going to go to Site Management. I'm going to go to Quick Search. I'm going to go to Object Type. And here's where I add this invoice. And add. All right, so now I go to Search Homepage, and I'm going to say, well, I want to set up this invoice object, and I want the title to be first. So all you have to do is pick it in order. So title, and then I'm going to go in this order right over here. I'm going to do company name, boom. And then I'm going to do invoice number, there. Then I'm going to do invoice amount. Then I'm going to do invoice date. And I'm going to do menu resubmit. And then I'm going to do Boolean approved. There we go. So I just pick them. You don't have to do an apply or anything. You just pick them in the order that you want them to do, to appear. Let's go see how that works. All right, so this is the classic DocuShare view. Typically, you'll either choose classic view or quick view. And you can toggle, you can switch between the two. So this is classic, and this is quick view. So now I have object type document, but look what happens when I pick invoice, title, company name, invoice number, invoice amount, invoice date, resubmit, and approved. So those are all the properties I just created. I can now search on any of those. All right, let's switch to yours. So, Tom?
Yes.
If you can make Hector presenter? I've got 1 hour and 15 minutes left, right?
You have approximately 1 hour and 15 minutes, yes.
All right.
Do we have time?
Absolutely.
Hector, you are becoming the presenter.
Roger that.
Your workstation.
So we haven't even gotten into the workflow yet. That's the fun piece.
Can we do all this on theirs, Brian?
Yes, we can, hopefully.
Okay.
If they have CPX users, do they? Do you know?
Do not know. I'm sure they do. If it's a demo license, we always give CPX users.
Okay. All right. So, are you sharing? I'm not seeing anything.
We're trying to log into it.
Just go up to, if Tom made you the presenter, just go up to share in your file menu, the very top.
We're trying to log into the DocuShare site here first.
Oh, okay. All right, got it.
Which doesn't seem to be working. Technical difficulties. And there you go.
I see it. All right. So we're going to do everything that we just did on mine, and we're going to go faster. All right?
Bueno, ¿quién es el que sabe lo menos de DocuShare? ¿Tú? Ven, who knows the least about DocuShare? Well, come on, you guys drive.
Just point and click. I'll tell you what to do.
So what we're doing is we're having the people that know the least about DocuShare.
Yep.
Drive the boat.
All right. Perfect.
How many logins can be with the same user?
That is a really good question. I believe it's 20. It's changed over the years. So originally they said, well, you might want to log in Firefox, and you might be logged in on a different PC in Internet Explorer, and you might have your DocuShare Drive or your DS Windows client logged in. So that's 4 logins right there. So we have traditionally given you the benefit of the doubt. So, and I think the number is about 20 at this point. It might be as low as 5, but I think it's about 20.
Well, because my idea is one people is sharing the screen that you see, but the others can log in as me too, in order to make the thing with a different name in the collection.
All right, but I think we're good. I mean, I can see that you're logged in. If you look in the upper right-hand corner, it says admin, so you have access. Yep, right there. And if you scroll down just a little bit, let's go ahead and do everything that we've done on mine so far. We're going to modify initial top-level collection B, if that's okay with you. That's over on the left-hand side. Yep, go ahead and open that. And we can do finances, or we can just make this, just rename this thing invoices. Why don't we do that? So how would you get to the properties? How would you get to the properties to rename initial top-level collection B? You would go up to initial top-level collection B, and you would go to the right of the object that you want to modify. Yes, perfect. Do it. All right, so now edit over on the left. Now delete everything that says initial top-level collection B and just call it invoices. All right, and then you can either hit the Enter key or you can scroll down and hit Apply. Either one will work. Once you start scrolling, though, then Enter key won't work. All right, very good. Now open up invoices. And so at this point, you would set permissions. We haven't talked about permissions at all. But permissions are very important. Let's just go look at permissions if you guys will bear with me. Yep, go to Properties and then go to Permissions. You can either go to, yeah, there you go. All right, so there are 3 types of permissions. There's Reader, Writer, and Manager permissions. Reader means that you can see something, you can see an object. In this case, you can, if you have reader access, you can see the invoices collection. You can see that folder. Writer means that you can see it, but you can also add things and change things. So you could actually rename the invoices folder to Invoices Brian if you wanted to, with writer access. So reader means you can see something. If that something happens to be a document, it means you can download it. Once you download it, you have it on your workstation, you can print it, you can edit it, you can do whatever you want with it. You need writer access in order to add content back to DocuShare and change content on the DocuShare site. If you have manager permission, the 3rd type of permission there, that means you can delete something. You could delete this whole folder called invoices if you have managed permission. You can also change the access control list. You can add users and groups or remove users and groups and change their permissions. All right, so that's the way permissions work in DocuShare. I would strongly encourage you, when you're setting up DocuShare sites to never use individual names in this list. You should always have a group. So for invoices, what you might do is do an invoices read-only group, and then have an invoices read-write group, and then have an invoices manage group. And then add the appropriate members to each group. You with me?
Yes.
All right. All right, let's go get going here. So let's go back to homepage. Back into invoices. Add collection. Yep. Number uno, period, space. We want this to be incoming invoices. So I said period, but I didn't really mean for the word to be typed there. So it'd be backspace one more time. All right, that's fine. Incoming invoices, perfect. Nice. Now I'll teach you a little trick. Hit the back button. Hit the browser back button. Back arrow. Upper left. There you go. Change it. Number 2. Approved invoices. Just double click on incoming. Okay. All right. Enter. Enter. Don't scroll. Oh. Perfect. Back button. Oh, so we have multiple fracturous entries. Okay. The next one, hit the back button again.
All right, that's only have one person.
I see what you're doing. Yes. 3. Rejected invoices. Enter. All right, incoming, approved, and rejected. Very nice. So now, let's go create that custom object. So hit your add button right there, the add button. You do not have an invoice there. What's the Spanish word for invoice?
Facturas.
That's what we need, fracturous. Okay, let's do it. Go to, right down in the bottom left, go to admin home. Object properties. Custom object. Fracturous. Come on, fracturous. Am I saying it right? You're laughing at my...
Well, the problem is the person that's typing doesn't speak Spanish.
Oh, that's funny. All right, yes, you got it exactly correct. So you're cloning the document object, so you're going to get all the document properties. Very good. Create. All right, just scroll down to the bottom. Let's see what we've done so far. So, oh, wait, we haven't done anything yet. Go over to update properties, because you always have to update properties. And submit. And we're waiting for what? The red. Yes, we're waiting for the red non-error message. Yes. There we go. Successful. All right, let's go back to the home page. So scroll all the way up in the right-hand side. Keep going. And now let's go into that invoices collection. Go to invoices. Now do an add. Hit that add button. Look at that. We've got an add invoices. Do it. But you know what? It looks suspiciously like the document properties, right? Title, summary, description, keywords, author. Right? So the next thing we're going to do is add custom properties to this custom object that is an index. So let's do that. Go back to admin home. Bottom left.
Admin home. Bottom left.
Nope. Bottom left. Right there.
Yes.
All right. So we're going back to object properties. That's where we've been working. And we're going to go to custom object. And we're going to modify that index property. You don't need to do it there. Select it from, yep, it's already been created. So hit it from there. Yeah, perfect. All right, so now we're going to add properties. So do add custom property. Add custom property drop down. Hit, well, you have to decide what you want to add. So the first thing we're going to add is a string. Very good. And the name is going to be company name. Company, capital C, underscore, yep, capital name. Perfect. Now the label is going to be company space name. Nice. Add. Yep, I saw you pausing over the 24-character limit. That's good. You were thinking about it. Some companies have a name that's longer than 24 characters. So in which case, you would have had to have expanded that. Very good. All right, scroll back up. We're going to do an add string again. And this is going to be invoice underscore number. Very good. Add. Next one. Big decimal. Add custom property, big decimal. So this is for monetary properties. And the name's going to be invoice underscore amount. Very good. And this one we're going to make required. Yes. All right, add. Next one, date. It's going to be a date property. Very good. So we're going to do invoice underscore date. And go ahead and add. Next one's going to be a menu property. This is fun. Go to menu. Yeah, this one's going to be resubmit. Resubmit. Is that a word in Spanish? Resubmit? Probably not. Label is the same. That's like reissue or redo or have somebody look at it again. All right, so now you have to put the values of the menu. So this is going to be a pull-down menu. And so you do that down a little bit below. So you have to start with the ID. ID, a little bit further. Yeah, there you go. And then you go to, you're going to say no. And the label is no. I would use caps, or at least a capital N. Yep. Add. Yes. Always want to keep them consistent. If you're going to use a lowercase ID, then use a lowercase label. All right, that's it. Add. Right at the bottom. All right, last one is going to be a Boolean. So do add custom property and Boolean. This is just a yes or no, true or false type thing. And this is going to be approved. This one word, approved. Yep. And then the true label is going to be yes, and the false label is going to be no, and the false label is going to be the default. Perfect. Add. All right, now what do we have to do? Update. Exactly. Patience, patience. So in real life, if you have a customer site, you don't want to do this like during their normal business hours if it's really a busy site. You probably want to schedule it for after hours because it's a fairly large burden on the database. It has to update the entire schema. Okay? All right, let's go back to home and check things out. All right, so go into your invoices collection. And just do an add from that drop-down. Add invoice. Invoices, yeah, it's okay. And so now we have title, summary, description. Let's scroll down a little bit. There, we got all the things we added. We have company name, invoice amount, invoice date, invoice number, resubmit. How are we going to fix that? We want those up at the top, right? Change the sequence. Exactly correct. Nope, not yet. We're not there yet. Go to object properties. This is pretty good, though. I mean, you guys are picking it up fast. Go to custom object. Yep, we want to modify the invoice. Edit. Display sequence over there on the right. This is where we just picked the numbers, right? This is where I showed you how bad my Spanish is, not even being able to count to 8. Ocho. So number 1, uno, is title. You always have to have title in there because that's the only way. You have to have title in there. It's the only way you can actually download the document. So title is number 1. Number 2 is going to be company name. Dos. Company name. Trace. Invoice number. Quattro. Big decimal. I'm sorry, invoice amount. Invoice amount. Cinco. Invoice date. Seis. Resubmit. Siete. Approved. Ocho. Do we have any more? Summary. Yep. Update sequence. Now what? Aha. All right, very good. Submit.
Take your time, don't hit it, don't hit it.
All righty, so now let's go back to the home page. Just kind of test things out. Go into invoices. And do an add invoice. And let's see our order. So we have title, we have company name, we have invoice number, invoice amount, invoice date, resubmit, approved. Perfect. So go ahead and hit the drop down for resubmit. It should say yes or no, or approved or yes or no. Yeah, good. So those are the entries that we made for that menu item, right? Okay, so we need to kind of move along here. Let's set up the quick search. So now we're going to go back to the admin home and tell me if I'm talking too fast. Admin home would be down lower left, right there. We're going to go to site management and then quick search. Very good. All right, so now we're going to go to object types. It's a tab on the upper right. All right, so the object, add add object type, we want to add this invoices document object. There you go. And add. Now we get to pick the properties that we want to associate with that when we're searching for it. So go to Search Home Page. Object type, we're going to set that to invoices. Yes, and now we're going to go in the same order. So that's a really good best practice. Go in the same order as that display sequence. All right, so it's going to be title, company name, invoice number. I always make these the same. The display sequence and the search criteria, make them always the same. Invoice amount. Fourth from bottom. Yep. Invoice date, resubmit, and approved. Very good. So there's no apply or anything when you're doing quick search. It's just, it works that way. So let's go back to the home page and see what we've done. All right, so now that you're still looking at the classic DocuShare page, if you scroll down a little bit, or actually you could do quick search right there at the top if you wanted to. Right there, yes. It's kind of a toggle. You can set your default site to be quick search, or you can set it to be classic. So it's really up to you. Go ahead and select that quick search. All right, so now we have object type document, or we should have object type invoices. Right up there on top. And look what happens. Title, company name, invoice number, invoice amount, invoice date, resubmit, approved. All right, so those are the properties that we just created, and now we can make this our home page and really emphasize searching for values of invoices. We do that a lot. A lot of customers like this interface, and then when you see the properties, when you find the documents, the columns that are displayed display the values that you're searching for. So this really emphasizes search over browsing. With me? Yep. All right, let's keep going. So now we've got a lot of work to do still. We're going to create 3 new accounts. Actually, 4 new accounts. So let's go scroll up and actually scroll down and lower left. Users and groups. Right, so now we're going to create a couple new users just for our workflow. So we're building towards this workflow now. So let's do add users, yep. And the username is going to be manager, capital M. Password is the same, manager, capital M. And last name is going to be manager. Why? So we're going to use these people, the roles, for our workflow that we're going to put together here in a second. So apply. All right, hit the back button now, browser back. Username, director. Password director, same. Make sure the case is the same. Oh, I noticed something. That's a read-only user. See your user level there? We've got to make sure that we at least do DocuShare user instead of read-only user. We're going to change some things. So let's set that to DocuShare, yep. And last name is going to be director. We're going to have to go back and fix that manager, I think. Apply. Let's go and add, the next one is going to be Senior Vice President. So username is going to be SVP. S as in Sam. Yeah, big man, big kahuna. Big Pappy. Just make the password match. That's what I would recommend.
You want to type in there?
No, I'm good with Big Pappy. Big Poppy. All right, even better. Last name, change last name. There you go. We're going to have to change that first one, the manager. All right, do apply though? Do apply? And one more time, hit the back button. This one's going to be accounting. Accounting. So it's really the accounting manager. So just put accounting in there, and last name is going to be accounting manager. Accounting manager. So it'll all make sense like in 30 minutes. All right, apply. And let's go fix that one guy. So the first guy that we added was manager. Let's go to list users right there. Yep, so just show all. And so that manager, go ahead and select manager, select his name right there. And edit and change user level over on the left. Right there. And make him Dr. Sher at least. Yep, and apply. All right, I'm going to do you a big favor here right now, and I'm going to show you one other thing. Go back to your home page. Go back into, do you have any content anywhere? What's that PBS cursor? Just open one of those folders that has the most content. Yeah, okay, so this has only a couple. So what you want to do is when there's like 100 objects in here, you're only going to get to see 20 at a time. Have you guys seen that? Yeah, so what you want to do is change that for your user profile. So if you scroll all the way up to the top, and if you select your name right there, admin, yeah. Now you go to edit. Go to edit. And scroll down a little bit. And see where it says page size right there? I always set that like to 250. 250 objects at a time. Do it. 250. Yes, apply. So that way you don't have to see 20, and then there's 20 more, and there's 20 more, and 20 more. All right, let's keep going. Now, do you guys have an invoice available by chance?
Can it be electronic?
Yes, an electronic invoice, just anywhere. I can email you one, or we can pull one off of one of our sites, just for kicks. Open up a new tab.
Hold on, I'm looking.
All right.
I can send a couple also.
Can you send one, Tom?
Do we need TIFF or PDF, or does it care?
Yeah.
Do a PDF.
Yeah, all I have is in a zip form, so they're all zipped up, so.
Do you have one, Tom, you can send?
Yep, I'm sending it to, bear with me.
All right, so far, we've been messing with DocuShare. We've added a new root collection. We've added a custom document object called an invoices. We've added custom properties for that invoice. And we set up folders so now we can implement a workflow. So we're going to implement the workflow. We're going to implement routing. and moving of documents within those 3 folders that we created within invoices. So that's what we're going to do for the next 30 minutes or so. All right? If you want to just, in the interest of time, if you can just open up a new tab right there, whoever's driving. Yep, and go to https://marin, // nope, forward, marin, M-A-R-I-N, M-A-R-I-N, .docushare, period, dot. You're missing a dot? Here, I know. You know what? Let me do this. .com/DocuShare. Enter. Doesn't seem to be working too well. Tom, did you send something?
Yes, I sent Hector a PDF invoice.
All right, here's what you need to do. Go to your, go to Internet Options. Go to Internet Options. Perfect. Go to Security. Go to Trusted Sites. And right there, put in https:// https. Yeah, grab it. Good. Security. Trusted. Paste it in there. And I would also get rid of that require server verification. See that checkbox right below? Yeah. All right. Add. And OK, close. And OK. And F5. And it's still not giving us what we want. Darn it. Do you have your mail up, Hector?
No, but my proxy is not set up.
Well, let me see. Go back to your site. Let me see if I can add something. Here. So that's an IP address. So if I can get into the VPN, just give me a second here. All we're trying to do is find an invoice for crying out loud.
Is there an email account associated with this server that we're on or anything?
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just good for invoice. I know I have one. I know there was one. La carpeta que dice Rocho hay una factura. En el sitio, en la carpeta que... Here's an invoice.
I'm sorry, you have one?
Yep.
All right. All right, cool. Yeah, let's just use this. So minimize that. Okay, where is that? We know where that is. Is it on your desktop or something? Just know where it is. That's all I care about. I don't care if it's on your desktop. Just know where it is, because we're going to add it right now. And so the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to set up routing slips. In order to set up routing slips, you always have to start with a document. So we just need to add this document to DocuShare, and then we're going to use this as a template to create our routing slips. All right, so if you want, do a file save as, just do file save as right there, Hector, and save it on your desktops. That way we'll all know where it is.
Oh, you had that already.
What?
No.
Just do a file save as right there. It's not going to let you do it?
She's driving, yeah, we got it on the desktop.
All right, so we know where it is?
Yep.
All right, close it.
Yep.
All right, so my screen is not repainting. I still see the same taxation document up.
Refresh, because we're sitting at the home base.
Oh, I know what happened. Hold on. It's my VPN. Whenever I do VPN, it doesn't let me do anything else. Okay, good. So go into invoices. Add invoice. Browse and find that document that we were just looking at.
I don't know what the desktop. House document.
Watch this. Let me show you something else. Don't do that. That's the old slow way. Cancel. Watch this. Go back. If you don't mind my throwing in a couple other things. Like resize that window. Resize that window, the browser window. Yep. Now grab that accounts document that you just were looking at and hold your control key. Now drag it over there. Ah, ha, ha, ha. Drop files here to instantly upload them as documents. Drop files here to select a type and fill details before uploading. Do the one on the left, or the right, Look at that. All right, so we're going to make this not a document, we're going to make this an invoice. It doesn't really matter. We're just setting up a workflow, but I just like to show things as things come up. Go to invoices. So now it's going to give us all these properties. Yeah, invoice amount, that's a required property. $2,000, $2,000. Now you can go to optional properties. So go ahead and select that. That's all the other properties that we had, right? But we don't care about that. We're just trying to set up a workflow for crying out loud. Scroll all the way down to the bottom and say apply. And tell me if I'm talking too fast, because I feel like I am, because we're running low on time. All right, so where's the apply? There it is, add. Good. All right, so we didn't really have to add it as an invoice. We could have just added it as any document. We just needed a document to start with. Okay, are you with me?
Yes.
Okay, so now let's go find that document. And let's actually rename it. Accounts document, let's rename that. Routing template, call it routing template. So just go over to properties over where you just were. It's like the arrows kind of over on the right-hand side, the arrows over on the right-hand side. right-hand side over there's like one arrow up, one arrow down, kind of down, right there, right, yep. And then select there, and then go to Edit. And let's rename this just so we know what we're doing with it. So we're going to say this is rename the title, Template, Workflow Template Document, Workflow Template Document, .pdf. So again, we don't care. This is just a document. It could be any document. We just need the document to start in order to create routing slips. Okay, so apply. All right, now we're ready to roll. So let's go over to routing over on the right-hand side. You can actually go back a level. You see the breadcrumb trail. It's kind of the gray bar up near the top, a little bit above where you are. No, too far. Right? Gray. Up above, just slightly where you are.
We don't see it.
Gray banner. Yes, you do. There you go. So that's called the breadcrumb trail. So you can go back to invoices right there from the breadcrumb trail. So go select invoices just to the left of where you are. There you go. Good. Yeah. So that's going to show you that collection that we're in. So now let's go find that document again. Scroll down a little bit, and go. You can go all the way over to the right, the three dots, and go to scroll down a little bit and go to Route. Now again, we're not going to route this document. We don't care about this document, but we just want to create a routing slip that we can use later on. So why did that not route? Try checking the box over to the left. Yep, and then go to Edit Selected. Edit Selected up above. I'm wondering if something's blocking. Edit Selected is a drop-down menu in the gray area above. Up, right down a little bit and to your left. Edit Selected. It's a drop-down menu. Way over to the left. Way over to the left. There you go. Now select that and then route. In DocuShare, there are a lot of different ways to do the same thing. We're going to try and route this. So hit route and confirm. There we go. So you should have been able to do the same thing by selecting way over there on the right-hand side. Anyway, we don't care what document we're routing. We're just creating the routing slip. We don't care which document. So if you scroll down a little bit, yep, keep going. So there where it says, what do you want to do? We want to approve or disapprove. And go ahead and hit that drop-down right next to it. Yep. So here are your options. In order, that means it's got to go to Brian first, and then it goes to Tom, and then it goes to Hector. At the same time, that would be the next one, at the same time, single reply. If it went to all three of us at the same time, just one of us would have to approve it. If it went all of us at the same time, all reply, that means everybody has to approve it. If it went to the three of us, majority, that means 2 out of 3 have to approve it for it to be considered approved. We're going to go in order. Good. All right, so now scroll down a little bit. Now right there in the subject, that's going to be the subject of the email that you receive. So we want to make that kind of relevant. We're going to call it Invoice Approval under $5,000. So what we're going to do is when an invoice comes in that's under $5,000, $2,000, whatever, it's going to go a certain routing path. It's going to go to 2 people. If it's between $5,000 and $25,000, it's going to go to a second, to more people for approval. If it's over $25,000, it's got to go to 4 different people, the people that we just created. Okay? All right, next. All right, so here we're going to go to users. So just go ahead and select show all. And we're going to go for $5,000 or less. We're going to go to manager and then accounting manager. Manager and then accounting manager. So you can pick them in any order you want, and you can hold the control key too and pick them both at the same time if you want. Yep, now scroll down in that window, not the window you're in, but yeah, there you go. So now put them in order. So actually you have them in order. So it's going to go to the manager first, and then it's going to go into the accounting manager. Perfect. Go next. All right, so you can have escalations set up. So if somebody receives this but doesn't respond within 3 days, you can have DocuShare send a reminder. So check that box right there. If not, complete. Yep. Within, just below it, 3 days. What do you want to do? So you have to click that box within. Yep, there you go. What do you want to have happen? Do you want it to skip the person, or do you want to DocuShare to send a reminder? So hit that escalation action right there. Yeah, skip, cancel the task, or send a reminder. Usually you would send a reminder. Okay? And then you can be notified of escalation, of every time somebody signs off, it gets really kind of spammy. Maybe when the task is complete. It's up to you. You don't have to do any of them for right now. Just cancel all of them. But anyway, say done. Okay, so we've set up this workflow routing for invoices under $5,000. We're going to say done. I'm running out of time, unfortunately. We've got to get at least this working. So now here, we don't want to submit it because we don't care about that individual document. We want to save routing slip. Yeah, there we go. Save it. Invoice approval under $5,000. Okay. You always want to save it as private too, so we can reuse it. Okay, now you can just cancel. We just used that document so that we could create the routing slip, so that we could save the routing slip. Okay?
I got a question.
Sure.
Before you go, how do I change that look where it says automate and simple? How do we put in the customer's logo or the company's logo or anything other than that?
Yeah, that's a good question. So that logo right there is being rotated through. Give me 1 second. I know how to do it, but I don't know off the top of my head, but I should. Tom, do you know? Do you remember?
Well, it's really
easy.
It's just you set it into a collection and point to the collection from there. I can probably find the instructions on how to do that, and I'll just...
I got it right here. We're going to do it right now. Desktop here. Web UI changes right here. Yeah, you can do a lot. Rotating that picture, you can actually, by collection, you can have, you can only add documents to this collection, or you can only add invoices to this collection. So you can make those types of modifications as well. You guys really should have invited me down, and I would have spent the whole day showing you everything. All right, here you go. So I'm going to show you how to do it, and then you're going to have to find some pictures, and then we can enable it. Go to Roadshow. Go to Roadshow. The Collection Roadshow.
Collection Roadshow.
Just go over there to Roadshow, yeah. Right there. Now do Add Collection. Do you have any good pictures?
Not that I want to share.
Add Collection. Hit the Add Collection and call it Home Page Images. Enter. You don't have any pictures. Find a picture right in, put it in there. Because I've got tons of pictures. All right, open that up. Add document. Any picture at all. You could use that invoice that we were working with.
The invoice we were looking at the homepage.
Picture section probably has samples over there.
Yeah. Go to browse pictures. Let's add the pictures. So go to browse.
Oh, no, we ain't doing that. I got personal pictures.
Got to hold Control key, and you can't. You're already in the add document, so you have to go back one level. So, Tom, how much flexibility do I have to run a little bit over?
You have flexibility.
Cool. All right, right there, Control, drag it in there. It doesn't matter if it's an invoice or a document. It drops it as a document. Perfect. All right, so now the collection, look up at the URL. It's collection 128. Do you see that? All right, so now we're going to say anything in this collection, we're going to rotate through as images. Actually, I don't know if PDFs work or not, but we're going to soon find out. So we're going to just remember 128. We're going to go to Admin Home. So scroll down and to the left. Scroll down and to the left. Admin Home. Yep, and then we're going to go to Site Configuration, Site Management, and then Site Configuration. Right in the middle. Right there. All right, scroll down just a little bit. And a little bit more. Background, it should be under background. Enable homepage slider image slider. Yes, and then homepage image slider collection. So type in there, capital C, collection. And what was it, 128-128? Yeah, apply. All right, go home. Why does yours look funky like that? It should scroll through there. Why didn't it? It needs to be a JPEG, that's why. It's got to be a JPEG. Let's try it again. Go to that collection 126 or 128.
Good. The sample pictures will have JPEGs in it.
Yeah, we'll get those. So do and open up Windows Explorer, My Computer, File Manager. Just drag it in there. All right, get rid of that PDF. Edit, selected, delete. Good. All right, let's go back to the home page. Aha. It looks really ugly, but that's how you do it. All right, we should keep moving along here, charging forward with workflow. I think that we left off, we had just one routing slip, but we're only going to do one routing slip today. All right? so you guys ready? Let's continue on. So now we're going to set up what's called a content rule. A content rule. Are we ready?
Héctor, pregúntale cómo agregar un flash. De cómo puede agregar otro flash.
Oh, para que siga corriendo.
Ajá.
Yeah, so he wanted to know on that home page where we just added Google.
Yeah, go on.
They want to know how to make that Google keep, rotating like it was earlier.
Well, you only have one image in there, so if you have multiple images, it's going to rotate among the images.
Okay, that's cool.
Right? But since you only have one in there, in that one collection, it's just going to be persistent. It's just going to stay there. If you added multiple images to that collection, then they would rotate through. Okay, remember how to do it? I think you have the same image.
Let's, team, why don't we move on to finish up the workflow? This is something I can send you documentation on. And
That's good.
You got to add it into Roadshow and home page images.
Yeah, no, we're ready for the workflow.
Okay, yeah, let's go. So let's go back to our invoices collection. All right, so now we're going to do what's called a content rule. It's a more advanced workflow. It allows you to do other things with the workflow and the routing slips. So what we want to do is anytime an invoice comes in and the amount is $5,000 or less, we're going to send it using that routing slip that we just created. And once those two people approve it, then we want to move it into the approved invoices. If they don't approve it, then it's going to end up in rejected invoices. So we want to set up content rules on the incoming invoice collection. So we can do that by either checking the box over to the left and going Edit Selected from above it, or we can go all the way over to the right and go to content rules. So we're going to operate on incoming invoice, yep, right there, and go ahead and click right there where you are, and we're going to go to content rules. There you go. All right, so the content rule is create a new content rule. So this is a content rule specific for this collection, the incoming collection. And we're going to call it, we're going to name it Route Invoice $5,000 and Under. Perfect. Hit Next. All right, so now we want to go to oh, what happened there? Oh, you know what? Say OK. It didn't like special characters. Hit previous. F5. All right, let's try it again. So just type route invoice 5K. And less. No, don't put that and sign in there.
Use the word
All right, let's try this. All right, very good. Something added, so we're going to look for anything, and then we're going to set when the object type is, we want to set that to invoice. So we're just looking for invoices coming in here. And then you can get more specific and say, I just want PDFs or whatever. We're going to leave that alone for now. Event applies to this container and immediate contents. If you want to watch a whole file system hierarchy that matches to see if anything matches your criteria, you can do that. By default, we're just going to watch this single folder. All right? Next. All right, so here you can filter. You can start filtering. The title contains this, or the amount contains that. In fact, that's exactly what we're going to do. So scroll down a little bit. And we're going to say where the numeric content property conditions apply. It's the very bottom one. And we're going to say invoice amount. Hit that drop down there. Invoice amount is less than or equals, right on the bottom, yep, 5,000. Perfect. Next. So when this condition is met, something gets added, it's an invoice, and the invoice amount property is $5,000 or less. What do you want to have happen? Well, in our case, we want to route it. We want to route it to those two people that we just set up on that routing slip. So select Route Document. Yep, you got it. Next. Why is this doing this? Reference XLT forms. Collection 10 is unlimited net. Say OK. Just say OK. And it didn't display the page I'm looking for. So hit the back button. Oh, darn it. Let's go all the way back. Go back to the home page. Let's try this again. So this is IE11. Hector?
I'm sorry?
IE11?
No. I'm not sure because we're not on my PC. Internet option. There you go.
Yeah, 11. Okay, so this should be fine. So close that. Let's try it again, though. Let's go to Invoices. Incoming invoices, go over there, yep, and go to Content Rules. Create New. Invoice under 5K. At least we're getting some practice here. Next. What do we want to do? Something gets added. Something is an invoice. And next. We're not looking for specific file types, formats. Where the numeric value invoice amount is less than or equal to 5,000. Next. Good. Route. We want to route it. So you're building a workflow here. You're tying it in with your routing slip. Oh, darn it. Incorrect JavaScript code. Create action script, collection 10. Reference error. It's undefined.
If you want to add another condition.
All right, say OK. And then we get nothing out of it. All right, so let's go. Let's make it really easy on ourselves in the interest of time. Go back to home. All right, so go to the home page there. I'm just going to show you a quicker and easier way. It looks like we only have a couple minutes left. So let me show you a faster way, faster. So go to Invoices. And go to Incoming Invoices. Open that up. Upper right, go to ... Go to Properties. Edit, over on the left. Scroll down. Right there, use routing slip. So hit that little drop down, use routing slip, second from the bottom. That means when anything gets added here, we're going to add an invoice when it's under $5,000. So just do that, okay? And apply. All right, so any invoice that gets added to this collection that's under $5,000, it's going to automatically be routed. Once it's approved, then we want to move it to the approved collection, so we still can see what we want to see. So let's go back to the invoices collection. It's in your breadcrumb trail in that gray bar right in the middle. Yep, go back a little bit right there, yep. And this time we're going to go to invoices, yep, go right there. And this time we're going to go to content rule, and we're going to say if something is approved from a routing slip, then we're going to move it into the approved invoices. So that's what we want to do. So check there, hit content rules, good. And so create a new content rule. And we're going to say approved invoice. Next. Something, no, where the event is, So right now, it's automatically going to be routed, just because we just did. But now we want to say when routing is completed. See routing right next to the bottom, second from the bottom? There you go. And the event type is approved. Yes, we could set the object type to invoice, but we don't care about that for now. So now let's go next. So the content rule is looking for an approved routing slip. Right? So it's just say next there. When it finds an approved routing slip, we're going to automatically move it to the approved routing slip collection. Yep. Next. What is this doing? I don't know this error, fortunately.
Copy paste.
If you'd like to send it to me, if you don't mind doing a screenshot, I can look.
Brian?
Yes.
It could be that there was an error and it can recover.
So you think we restart DocuShare? Restart DocuShare?
Yeah. I'm not sure. I'm just guessing.
It can't hurt. We're so close. It probably would not be a bad idea just to restart DocuShare real quickly. Okay, so Hector, are you driving still?
Nope.
All right, so whoever's driving, let's restart DocuShare. And you can email me that error, and I can look into it. But let's go to services on the server itself. So if you could remote into the operating system of the server running DocuShare.
¿Tú puedes parar el servicio de DocuShare? Sí. Okay. Vamos a pararlo y después empezarlo de nuevo. All right,
yeah, if you could just like do a remote session to 192.168.122.
Yeah, he's doing it now.
Okay. Just go ahead and restart DocuShare from services. Just stop it and then restart it.
Yeah, stop it and start it.
Yep. Ash, sorry to be spilling into your time.
Oh, that's fine.
So we have 2 instances of DocuShare running. Is one?
Well, that was from my PC.
Can you widen out that name right there, where the name is, the column?
What, mine?
Yeah. Just expand the name column. Yeah, I want to just see if the license keys are the same. So what do you mean this is your PC? Is this the one that we've been working on?
No. I had DocuShare running on my laptop. We were remoted into the DocuShare site here at this center.
So were we operating on the DocuShare at the center, or were we remoted into?
Yes, we were now operating on mine.
Okay, so we don't care about yours stopping and restarting. We want to restart the one there at the center.
Right, and he's doing that right now. You see it?
Okay.
I just wanted to shut mine down in case there was any conflict.
Now we just start.
It's starting now.
All right, cool. Yeah, just keep F5ing. That's what I do. Impatient me.
How much more time do you think, Brian, we should spend on this?
Yeah, I should probably hand over to Ash. We can at least drop a document, an invoice in there, and show the routing.
What we had planned was for about a 15-minute break between yours and Ash was to start at about 10:30.
Okay.
And so.
Yeah, let me just. I mean, we got to look at what content rules are and what they do. It would be nice if they would actually work.
No, I understand, and I think it's important that everybody understands how these object types and the tags associated with them correspond to the tags
right.
with whether you're using AutoStore or Connect Key or whatever. You know, they can start a process.
Yeah, we haven't even gotten close to AutoStore yet, have we?
That's a subject of another session, I believe.
Exactly. I may have underestimated. All right, one more F5, and I think we're in business. Yes. All right, let's try this again. Go to Invoices. Hey, look at that. We have new pictures, too. Incoming invoices. Content rules. Create new. So we're going to make a really simple one. Approved. Move approved invoices. Approved invoices. That'll be fine. Approved invoices. Next. Something added. But really we want routing. And we want routing approved. And when it's approved, we want to do something with it. So go ahead and say next. All right, so next. We want to route. routed. We want to move, change location. Yep. And there we have the same error. Darn it. All right, I'll tell you what, let's just do what we can do. Say okay there. And then I'll just have to give you a visual.
Brian, can you invite me to the WebEx in order to change the laptop because it's the browser that he had. I make it and I can do it.
I'm sorry?
You need to invite me. You need to invite me to the WebEx. Sí, pero ya para terminar ya, porque ya a las 10:30 tiene otros. Bueno, vamos break y después regresa otro señor.
I'm sorry, I missed that.
No, what he wants to do is he wants you to invite him, but I told him that at 10:30 we're going to break, and then another gentleman's going to take control. So I don't know if this error is going to come up again.
So I think the error is going to come up again. Let's just show what we can show. So we're basically setting up a content rule. Let's just do this. We're going to go back to your DocuShare site. And so the real demo script that Tom is providing to you has the exact actions that you're supposed to do. It basically sets up content rules when a document is added and that property for the invoice amount is less than $5,000, it calls one routing slip. When it's between $5,000 and $25,000, it calls a separate routing slip, and when it's over $25,000, it calls a third routing slip. And the third routing slip has, I think, 4 levels of approval. So it's just, we created the routing slip, we created the most simplistic one. It only has 2 people that approve it. What would happen is it would automatically route to those 2 people. There would be a second content rule. Once the routing slip is approved, it's going to move it to the approved invoices collection. So we can at least look at the routing slip approval. So why don't we do that? We've got 5 minutes left, so let's spend our time doing that. So go into invoices. And so what you would do is from an application like Xerox Connect Key, DocuShare Connect Key, or AutoStore using Quick Capture Pro, whatever the capture method, if the document, the invoice, ends up in that incoming invoice collection, go ahead and open it up. We're just going to do it manually here. Just open it up, select the name there. And let's pretend like we're scanning something into this folder. So do an add. Or you could even use that invoice that's on your desktop and just Control key, drag it in there. Right there. Yep, we want to make sure it's an invoice, so choose the one on the right. Yep. And so the type is going to be invoices, and the invoice amount is going to be $2,000. Let's go ahead and fill in a couple other properties just so you can see what it looks like. So go to additional properties and go to company name, Xerox. Invoice date can be today. Invoice number 12345. And we'll just skip the resubmit for now and just do an apply or an add. All right, so there it went. Now what that would do is it would trigger an email. And whoever the manager was, because the manager was the first person on the routing slip, they would now have a task waiting for them. So there are 2 ways for that person to get their task. They can either passively wait for the email to arrive with the link to the document, or you can actively go to My Tasks up there on the top of the screen in the header. Yep. So you're logged in as admin. What you're going to have to do is log out and then log in as manager. All right, now let's go to My Task. And there it is. So invoice approval under $5,000. So that's a task assigned to me. If you were also assigning tasks, you could see the tasks that were assigned by me. But go ahead and open that. Yep, so there's the document itself. You can view the document, or you can scroll down and you can add comments. So right in there, say, Hector approves, or Brian approves, or somebody approves. Somebody approves. And then just hit that approved button. And I'll just be less than 2 more minutes. So now what that would do, if we weren't having that error, is that would trigger the next content rule to move that invoice into the approved invoices collection. You with me?
Yep.
All right, close that. Let's log back in as admin. I just want to show you a couple more things in terms of workflow. All right, so go up to My Task now. And so task assigned to me, but we want to do task assigned by me. So you can go to task assigned by me in the upper right. Yep. So these are the ones that are using that routing slip that we just created. So you can see that it's been approved by, it's waiting for accounting, so it's already been approved by manager. And so if you open it up, go ahead and open it up. It's going to tell you a little bit more detail about who approved it and when they approve it. So if you scroll down a little bit. Yep, so you can see the manager had approved it, and now it's waiting for accounting manager. That was the second step in the routing slip. All right, you with me? All right, so close that. Let me just show you one more thing with regard to workflow. I'm sorry the content rules didn't work. We just don't have time to try and fix that right now. Go ahead and cancel that. Let's go to Admin Home. I just want to show you where you can get a different view of the workflows. Keep going, scrolling down, scrolling down. Yep, Admin Home, go to Services and Components. And then go down to Workflow. Fourth from the bottom, and expand that, and go to Workflow Manager. You can also, as an admin, check the status of your workflows. So go to List Workflows right there. Yep. And so now we can go to, these are active workflows. Let's see what I'm doing here. Title. Let's go to, scroll down a little bit. We're going to look for the invoice approval, so it's the one right at the very bottom. Go ahead and check that box. Or actually, select the number. It's 801. Select the 801 number, 801. Yeah, I just want to show you a couple other things here, and I'll turn over to Ash. Select it. Yeah, so now it's showing you the chart of actually what that workflow does. Now, if you do the graphical view over there in kind of the upper left, it's going to give you a schematic that kind of shows. So go up to the, you can see admin is the owner, and then it went to the manager. No, right above that, it says graphical view. It'll give you a better look, I think. So you can kind of get the status of where things lie. So you can see green means it's been completed, blue means it's pending, and so it's waiting for approval. Actually, gray means that it's waiting for approval. So step by date, green. So if it's overdue, it's going to be blue. It should be gray as step 1 completed. date completed. So that was 8533. I'm not sure what that is. But anyway, it's staged out of the completed cycle there. So it approved. It went to the branch. It's staged out. It's waiting for approval. If you're looking, kind of reading from the bottom left, is what's happening. So gray means, or dark gray means it's been completed. The approval by the manager was accepted. And so now it's waiting for the accounting manager. So it just kind of gives you a graphical representation of what's happening with the workflow.
Hold on just a minute, Brian.
Sure.
So how many folks here know DocuShare? How many folks show this field here to your customers when you're talking and presenting DocuShare? This is a good one to have because most people are visual, and we can talk about how we route a document all day long, but when you see the visual like that, they actually grasp it. Agreed? So what we did is we took a screen capture, and what I'll do is I'll email it to everybody, but this is a good way for you folks to present to your customers how the routing process works so they can actually get a visual view and they'll be able to understand it better. Cool? All right, go ahead.
Yep, so let me just kind of go through it again. So starting from the bottom left, gray means it's completed. So the manager approved it, and there was a decision point. He could have either approved it or rejected it. If he had rejected it, it would have continued along the bottom, that path. Instead, he approved it, so stage out right above it. So this is the middle chart, and now it's waiting for accounting. You can see the green bar means it's waiting for accounting. Now you're going to ask, what is those green bars up on top, the top row? Well, that's the escalation that we set up. It's waiting to see if 3 days transpire before it sends the reminder is what it's doing. So blue means it hasn't been completed yet. Green means it's pending. And then gray means it's completed. Does that make sense? You guys with me?
Yep.
Okay, so that's all I'm going to show you on workflow because I need to turn it over to Ash. I appreciate your time this morning. It was fun.
Are we gonna get the same errors?
Yes, we need to fix those errors. I don't know what they are. Did you email them to me, Tom? Can you?
I will email them to you, but we also probably could pass those by the support line and just see what they
let's
say about
run
it
it through
as well.
support first. Yeah.
And it may be just something, a Java version or something like that is a correction, or who knows.
But we definitely want to get it working. We have the that Word document that I was working from when I was sharing my screen. Tom's going to make sure you have that available. And that basically walks through all the steps that we were doing today.
Okay, good.
Right.
Right?
Eso, una guía avanzada de reglas de contenido, ciclo de vida del documento, para poder configurarlo o saber, ya que no tenemos tanto tiempo. Una guía de configuración avanzada para ciclo de vida del documento, reglas de contenido.
Eso es lo que él te va a mandar.
Ajá.
Oh, they want a document that illustrates on how to do complex setting up for the life cycle.
Lifecycle Manager. Oh, yeah, I've got a good document for that.
We can do that.
Okay. Send it to me, and I'll forward it to everybody.
All right, Tom, I'll send that off to you right now.
Thank you.
Okay.
I've got like an exercise. Okay, I'm going to check out.
Thanks very much, and thanks, everyone. What we may want to do, and Hector, I look for your guidance, is do we need to have a 5-minute break for everyone and then start with Ash?
Break?
Yes.
Okay. Yes,
Okay.
5-minute break.
Okay, so Ash will start in 5 minutes?
Yes. Could you also pass the presenter to me?
Absolutely. By the way, Brian, thank you very much.
Oh, my pleasure.
Hey, Brian, we got a quick question.
Yes.
Is there any way to change the look of the screen to where the collections are in different positions?
Yes, we didn't finish that, did we? Sorry about that. We set up quick search, but then we, yeah. Can you share your screen again? I'll show you exactly what to do.
Hang on.
Well, the question is, like, for instance, the way that the look of it right now, the home screen.
Yep.
Share it.
There is, everything's editable. I mean, it's not easy, though. I'm going to tell you that. It's easy to post those logos in and have those rotate. That's easy. It's easy to either use classic view or the quick search view. Yeah, so it's really easy to have the logos or even turn the logos off if you want. You're looking at the classic view right now. If you want, scroll down to the bottom and go to the quick search view. We messed around with that a little bit earlier. Yep, we didn't set up your Collection Explorer though, so that's what we really need to do. Can I spend 5 minutes and show you how to do that? Sure. All right, so this is what I want you to do. Scroll up and go to Admin Home. I'm sorry, don't go to Admin Home. Go to My DocuShare. Yeah, My DocuShare right there. This is a best practice. As the administrator, you want to have what's called the Cabinet Explorer in your personal directory. So go select Personal Directory right there, Personal Collection.
Right.
Yep. And then go ahead and select it. And then do an Add Collection. And call it Cabinet Explorer. Very good. Now hit Enter. Okay, so now you want the same root collections to appear within this Cabinet Explorer. So go back to the home page. I actually wrote a little training guide on how to do this as well. Go to, is there a, it might not be, it's a content map. Do you see content map? It might be down at the bottom. Scroll down a little bit. A little bit more. Content map. Yeah, there, go there. All right, check the boxes next to everything there. Now watch this. So now do Edit Selected, Copy, and Confirm. So those are the root collections that you see from the classic DocuShare homepage.
Right.
We're going to make those available in the Quick Search homepage as well. So now we're going to go to My DocuShare again, and we're going to paste them into that Cabinet Explorer. Yeah, right there. Paste. So you got to hit the Edit Selected drop down and paste there. Okay, very good. So now, so why are those two in the bottom? What are those doing? Why do they have the, you know, what is that?
It's not selectable.
Right permission.
Okay, that's all right. So now I want you to go to the collection itself, because remember you created this collection. Just confirm there. Confirm there. Okay. So now go to the collection itself. This was created in the administrator's personal folder. So that means nobody has access to it. But you just need to open up this collection for read access. So go to the right of Cabinet Explorer. Yep, go there. Go to Permissions. Permissions. Yep. And then here you want to do Add. Scroll down a little bit. Yep, Change Access List. Change Access List. There you go. And then do Groups. Select Groups. Show All. And let's do all users except guest would be a typical assignment. So all users except guest, Add. Now here's where the important part is. So go Update Access List. Now here, you want everybody to be able to see that Cabinet Explorer. If you want to switch over to the quick view and you want to make that your default on your site, you want to have everybody able to see that Cabinet Explorer view. Even though you created it in the administrator's personal collection. So you're going to give everybody read access to that, and then below that, they're going to just have their normal permissions on those other root collections. So you got to be really careful here, and you want to say, apply only changes to this container only. So that means just this folder, one right above where you are, this container only. So just the container called Cabinet Explorer that's in the site administrator's personal collection, you just want to add that one group to it. All right? So apply. All right, so now we should be good to go. So go back to the home page. And like I said before, if you want it to stay on classic view, you've got your classic view there. But if you want to go to, if you want to make the default quick search view, which I usually do on sites that have custom document objects like project documents or like contracts or like invoices, I will set that to quick search. So go ahead and scroll down to quick search. You can toggle between the two. It's an individual option, but it's also a site-wide option. All right, so why is that not appearing there? Oh, I know. One more thing. Go back to My DocuShare. We just need to set it up. And hold your mouse over Cabinet Explorer. And it's 135. Okay, so we have to do one more thing. We have to specify 135 as the Cabinet Explorer. Go to Admin Home. There's a document that walks you through this. So go to Admin Home, down left-hand side. Yep, right there, Admin Home. Go to Site Management. Go to Quick Search. And it has an option right there that should say Collection Handle, and it should be capital C Collection 128-128. And apply. All right, let's go back home now and see. No apply, you already got it. Sorry, we went over, Tom. All right, let's try looking at the quick search now. There we go.
Yes.
But those are JPEGs. Where are those JPEGs? Did I not get the right collection? Let's go back to My DocuShare. My DocuShare? Right there. And go to Cabinet Explorer. That's 135. Is that 135? So I just got it wrong. So let's go to 130. Change that to 135. So go up to. Go ahead and open that first, if you don't mind. Open that. All right. So those are definitely folders in there. Now go back to Admin Home, bottom left. 135. So go to Site Management, Quick Search, Collection 135. Just got the wrong collection. Do it. Yep. Now let's go back to the home page and look. All right, that looks better. So those, you have the same root collections there in Cabinet Explorer as you do in the classic view.
Yep.
All right. And so you, like I said, you can toggle it. You can set the default to be this quick search, or you can set it to be classic. By default, it's going to be classic. But if you individually want to change it and make your default different, go ahead and select Admin in the upper right. You can do it based on your user profile too. You can override or overwrite the system default. And you would do that by going to Edit, over on the left. And then you would set that to, scroll down a little bit, right there where it says Home Page, you would say, I want to use Quick Search, or I want to use Classic. So you can override it individually. All right, so I threw a lot at you today, and you're going to get a lot more from Ash. I appreciate your time, and we'll see if we can get that one error with the content rules fixed.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time.
All right, it's my pleasure.
Thanks, Brian.
All right, I'll talk to you.